Hey guys, welcome to the next video on Redis tutorial for beginners. In the last two videos we have talked about string values in Redis. Now in this video I'm going to show you how you can use hashes as values in Redis. Now first of all, what are hashes? Hashes are map between the string fields and string values. Hence they are perfect data type for representation of objects. In Redis, every hash can store up to 4 billion field value pairs. Now, you may ask that I have talked about key value pairs, but what are these field value pairs, right? So let me show you a slide and then you will be able to understand in a better way. So this was the slide, similar kind of slide I have shown you in the string data type also, right? So in the hashes, we are talking about hashes now. So in the case of hashes, the keys are same, which are printable ASCII, you can see here. But in the case of string, we were using string array here, right? And that string array was about 512 megabyte, right? Now in the case of hashes, we use this kind of map of field value, right? So field is this one and value is this one. Okay, in the cases of string it was like only a string value, right? So I will give you an example. For example, I want to store students database or students info data. Then what I can do here is I can say student1 as a key. So student1 as a key. And then for example, student has what attribute? Student has, for example, name, surname, age, in which class he is. So here field can be name, and then for example name is equal to mark, value 1 can be mark, right? Age is the field 2, for example, in this case, and then for example 15 is the value 2 here, right? Surname can be field 3 here, and then whatever the surname of the student, it will be value 3, right? So for every student we can just provide this kind of map for his information. So this is how hash data type as value work in Redis, right? Now let's take a practical example and then we will be able to understand this concept. So I'm going to just start the Redis CLI and let me see what are the keys there. So I'm going to just write keys pattern, and these are all the keys. So I'm going to flush all. So let me flush all here. So all the keys will be deleted, and now I'm going to clear this CLI, and let's start with the hashes, right? So as we have seen in the case of strings, we can just use this set command to set a key value pair. Now in the case of hashes, we can use hmset to set a key field value pair, right? So for example, we were talking about student information database, right? So just write hmset. H stands for hashes here. Mset we have already seen in the case of strings also, right? So just write hmset, and then for example stu1 for student1, and then for example I will just write name is equal to max, right? And then I can also give the second field value pair, right? So for example his age is equal to 15, and then for example class, in which class he is. So he is in, for example, 8th class. Okay, this is just an example. So this is student 1 information. Let me just give this minus here so we will be able to understand properly. And then when I press enter, it's going to say OK. And to get this value, there are two ways of getting. So you can just say hget and the key name, for example stu-1 is the key name, and you can give the field name, whatever field you want to get, or you can just say get key name, and here get we have already seen in the case of strings also, and you just need to add a h before it, and then the student key name. It says error because we just need to give the field name also. So what field we want to get? So we want to get, for example, name of student 1. It says Max here, right? Now if you want to get all the information about student 1, you can just say h get all, okay? And here you can just give the student 1 key name, and it's going to give you all the field value information about the student 1. So for example, name Max, age 15, class 8, okay? So let's add one more student, for example. So once again, this command hm set student 2, and then the name, for example, Tom, age is 12, for example, and class is 7, okay? Press enter, and once again you can get the information about the student 2 using stu-2, right? So let me clear the terminal. So in this way you can just set the hash value and get the hash value, right? Now there is one more command for example, h exists, and this will tell you if the field inside this hash set exists or not. So just write h exists, and then the key name, for example, stu-1, and then for example, I am searching for surname, okay? And surname field does not exist in student 1 info, right? And then I press enter, and it says integer 0. So there is no information about the surname of student 1, right? In the case of name, this name exists, right? The name field exists in this student 1 hash set. So when I just give this value, then it says integer 1, that means it exists. So 0, it doesn't exist, 1, it exists, right? Now for example, I want to delete a value. What I can do, I can just say hdel, and it says first of all I need to give the key name, so stu1, and I want to delete, for example, class from it. So I'll just write class, and then I can just press enter, right? And then I can just do h get all and the student 1 key, and now you can see class doesn't exist here anymore, right? For example, I want to set once again the same value. I can just write hm set, and then the same student stu1, and then class 8, okay? And then press enter, it says okay, and once again h get all student 1, and now once again the class is added here, okay? So you can add and delete the values from this hash like this. So for deleting you use hdel, and then once again for setting you just add this field value pair. Now there is one more command called hsetnx. So hsetnx. So this command is used for setting the field value if the field doesn't exist. So if the field doesn't exist, this command will be successful, and if the field exists, this command will not be successful. So for example, I will just say stu1 name. So name field already exists, right? And I will just give some other name to the student 1, right? And it says 0. So this command is not successful because this command will be successful only in the case of the field not available, right? So if I do the same command and I know that surname is not there, so I will just write surname and some surname and then press enter, and it returns integer 1. That means it has created this field value inside this student set, right? So once again, when I do get all st1, now this student 1 also have surname information. Now, as in the case of string, we were using keys, right? So we were writing keys asterisk, right? Same you can use, for example, h keys here, and then the key name, for example, whatever key you want to give here, stu1, and it gives all the fields in that hash. So by field I mean the name and, for example, age, class and surname, only the field, not the value of those fields. So it will only return the fields of that key, whatever we provide here. Now, as in the case of string values, we were having decr, decrement, or incr for incrementing the value. So the same is available in the case of hashes also. So for example, I want to increase the age of some student by some number, I can do that. So just write h and then incr by, and then the key name stu-1, for example, and the field name is age. I want to increment his age, and then right now the age is 15, for example, and I want to increase the age by 2, and then press enter, and then once again when I do get all stu1, now you can see the age becomes 17, right? So in order to increment the value, you just write h incr by and the key and the field which you want to increment. Now if you want to know all the values of a particular key, then we can just write h vels and then the key name stu1. It will just give you the values of that field value pair, right? So right now it's not giving name or age or class or surname, it's only giving the values of them, which is max and then 17, 8 and the surname value, right? So h vels is for value. Okay, now if you want to know the length of some hash, for example, I will just give this command len and then the stu1, the key name -1. It will return you the number of fields in that hash. Okay, so press enter and it returns 4. So I know that student 1 key has 4 number of field: name, age, class and surname. So I can just verify that with that. Okay, so 4 fields, so it will return number 4. Now the last command I want to show here is hmget. So let me clear the terminal, and then I just want to write hmget, and it will give you the result whatever fields you want. So for example, for stu1, for example, I just want to know the name of that student. I don't want any other information about that student but only the name. Then it will give me the name, right? And for example, I just want to know the name and age, even though the student hash contains surname and class also, but I just want to know the name and age. It will just give me the name and age when I use hmget, then the key name and the field name I want to see. So the field name I want to see right now is name and age, so I just give name and age, and it will give me the result of those fields only. So in this way you can use hashes in Redis. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.